There they are. Sorry, guys. Took me a minute to get all this stuff on today. I don't need these yet. We're back, man. We're back in this last part of Zulema's. It's very long. It was 4 hours. So that's why it took so long to get this done. What's up, guys? Yes, so let's just address that. I've been really thinking and about the people who have been affected by this in Texas. So many people have gotten involved here. I think that what we got to do here is we got to finish this up, and then we're going to pick some. Oh, you got to be kidding me. No sound? Can you guys hear me? It says my mic's working. So, what's up, Dottie? So yeah, we're gonna finish up. We're gonna finish up with what we're doing with Zulema. Been a very long process with hers. With all that being said, I just wanted to start by saying I just want to thank everybody. Like I really want you guys to know how much I appreciate you. I want to say thank you to our mods. We've had an amazing growth in our community lately, and on top of that, we actually have an amazing Chiefs Discord. So I also want to reiterate that the Chiefs Discord is only for Chief members. It should only be for our Chiefs members. That's like one of the main things I wanted. Is just like we have a lot of people, and I'd love to be able to have this huge group of people being able to. But then I did the math, and I'm like, if we do a Discord like this, none of us will ever see each other's messages. So we made it for that. What's up, big dog? With all that being said, though, we've had an amazing just community connection in the last couple weeks. I've wanted that for so long. I've wanted to have just time with you guys. I love our communication and everything to do with this. So it's part of the perks of being a chief is getting into that Discord. That's just one of those things. So I just want to reiterate, it's a private Discord. So if you are in the Chiefs Discord, please don't share that link with anybody. And again, there's a lot of things that go with it. I'm just trying to give us a place to talk and communicate. With all that being said, though, this trial is almost over with all these interviews. Again, we're skipping around a little bit, and that's okay. That's what we needed to do. So right now, I'm just going to hop on real quick. It ended up restarting our video, which is unfortunate. It's not showing me where we stopped. So I just have to look at the timestamp on our last one and make sure that I know exactly where our timestamp is on this video. Hopefully I can see. So we were on part 1. So now we're on part 2. So we finished part 1 in 2 videos. Now we're going to go start part 2. So I just want to make sure we're good. Okay. So let's get this going. It's good to see you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. This one's a black screen for some reason. Hopefully it will come on. But this is Zulema's interview. The rest of it, it's like another hour. And we're just getting started on that because her first one was almost 4 hours. So she was up there for a long time. Hope you guys are prepared for an count. Not trying to be rude here, but this is going to be a lot of ums here today. Oh, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love and support. We love and support you guys as well. So, let's get started, man. Let's get this going. It's a long one. It's only about an hour, so we'll get through this one, and then there's a couple more key ones we'll listen to.
Is that correct?
Some of you guys can.
All right, thank you. Again, I appreciate very much your continued service in this case and your continued compliance with the admonishments.
Turn it all the way up.
Given to you each day when you leave. I hope you had a good break over the weekend.
Oh, there we go.
We're going to continue now with the cross-examination.
We're going to speed that baby up.
This witness, Zulema Pasnenes. Mr. Thomas, I believe, was
we're going to
generate cross-examination when we broke
our
last
audio.
week. And I'll remind you, Ms. Pasnenes, you are still under.
Yeah, I got my brains all over the place today.
Continue your cross.
What's up, Lizzie? Good to have you here.
Ms. Pasnenes, how are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Just a little bit of housekeeping. I wanted to know if over the weekend you were able to speak with the prosecution.
When you guys see my my court picture, This is absolutely not making fun or hating on whoever drew those pictures. For sure, different, very different. Not really what I look like. Just so you know.
Anybody from the prosecution team?
No, sir.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
Did you have a chance to review any of your notes or any of your files regarding
Good to have you guys all
your
here.
testimony?
No, sir.
When we were talking a little bit on Friday, we talked a little bit about a number of things. One thing that kind of bothered me over the
I
weekend,
love it.
as we were,
That's my line. I gotta keep myself in check.
as I was going through the testimony, was your relationship with Alex. And so I want to talk a little bit about that.
We'll see it on my testimony.
So you first started dating Alex on October 31st, 2019. Is that right?
We went on a first date in August
doesn't
of
look like me.
2019.
No
I
disrespect
believe
to
you
her.
said
I did not look
you
like that.
testified that October 31st was the first time that you had went on a date with him. So apparently I'm mistaken. So tell me a little bit about what happened in August.
In August, we went out to dinner. What I testified for around that happened on August. I'm sorry, on October 31st. But that was the first time that we ever kissed or that we ever held hands.
Okay. So between August going out to dinner and October 31st, that was August of 2019, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how many times
pull
did you
it up
date
for you.
between August and October 2019?
Yeah, this is not to be disrespectful. This is just what it is.
Just a couple times.
A couple more times between August, the first time you went to dinner, and the
So
first time you kissed him
absolutely.
was on October 31st.
Correct.
Okay.
Just being honest.
And had you talked on the phone with
You guys know what I look like. That is definitely not me. That's not me. And that's, again, no disrespect to the artist. That's just not what I look like. If I do look like that and I can't see it, you can tell me in the chat.
with him between August and October 31st? Was that something that you guys did
Yes.
quite frequently or not really?
I wouldn't say quite frequently, but frequently.
Okay. And what kinds of things were you talking about?
We talked a
What I
lot
look
about
like.
scriptures. We talked about
I can't draw.
talks that we had read. We talked about our families. We were just getting to know each other.
Just getting to know
It's
each
not
other?
April.
Yes.
Okay. And then between October 31st and let's see, November the 7th,
Oh, I love that.
was the first time you kissed was October 31st. And then what happened in that week between October 31st and November 7th? Were you together? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like I said, when I first saw that picture after, I wish I could side by side that with my face, because that just does not look like me, bro. It does not look like me. I'm not being disrespectful. I can't draw worth a crap. Like, I genuinely don't have the skills to draw, so I can't say like I'd ever do a better job. But if you've never seen me and you saw that picture, they're just really not the same person. And it looks like dog, my beard is not this low. That's not what my beard looks like. Does it? It's higher than that. It used to look like that when I was like 21. Yeah, they did. They got the man bun, man. RIP to the man bun. You're never coming back, probably.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Okay. It was, I was just going to try to clarify a little bit. Was there anything significant? Were you seeing each other every single day between October 31st and November 7th?
No, that would have been impossible because I was in Arizona and he was
Yes,
in
absolutely.
Rexburg, Idaho.
Okay. And my understanding is that on November the 7th is when he presented you with an engagement ring. Is that right?
Correct.
And was that in Rexburg or was that in Arizona?
In Rexburg.
Okay. So you came up to see him on November the 7th?
It's a little
Correct.
higher than that. That's way
Were you
more.
there for that purpose, or were you there for a
It goes all the
conference
way
or
up to my
for
face. I
some
just-
other purpose, and you just happened to meet up with him?
No, I came specifically to spend time with him.
Okay. So he gives you an engagement ring. Had you guys talked before that time, between the kissing a week earlier and getting the engagement ring? Did the two of you talk about
Are we really, really spending a lot of time on this kiss, man? A lot of times being spent on this kiss.
possibility of getting married?
Yes, Alex was very clear that he was looking for a relationship and he wanted to get married.
And when did that come up? How did that come about? When did that come up?
Thank you, Glenn, for
Um,
the sticker.
I'm pretty sure that he actually,
Look, we know that I believe in true love. I do. I don't think that even in true love that it's smart to just jump, kiss and then engaged. So you hold hands, you kiss, and again, not trying to be rude. I want that to be full disclosure. This is just observations on our side. But just for anybody who's listening, a kiss to getting engaged to married is very like almost, that's a lot like older culture, right? Like that's something that might be happening if um that might happen in a really old kind of courting thing where you court for a little while, then you kiss and you just get married. Like we talked about this last time. I think marriage is a very important thing in your life, and you should spend a lot of time thinking about it. Yeah, for real. For real. And it's just we're in a different culture now. There's nothing wrong when you're in love to want to get married. That's a great desire. But there's also like you court and you do that, and then yeah, that's crazy. Like think about that. You don't know someone really well until a little bit later on. Like their true colors can be hidden. It's just more complicated. I think you just have to, marriage is too important to just rush into, for real.
talked about it the first time we went out to dinner.
The
That
first
he
day.
wanted to have a relationship
beautiful,
and
dude.
he wanted
Hey,
to.
I married Kelsey we dated for, I want to say total to being together before being married, it was 8 months. But I had known Kelsey almost my whole life. I just got to know her really well. We got engaged and we just felt right about it. So I'm not going to really sit here and judge. It's not like Kelsey and I really, Kelsey and I didn't really have to, okay, we knew each other. We didn't know each other that well. Then we were dating and we would spend so much time together that summer that we kind of like, we got full days, like morning to night days. So with that being said, we had a lot of FaceTime and we knew we loved each other. And then I really thought and prayed about before I ever married her. I love her so much, but I was like, if this is just too far, like I knew marriage was a big deal at 21 years old. We got married young too. So again, I understand it. I understand what I'm saying because I got married young. I was in love. She was in love. But at the same time, she and I both think that it would have been nice to even have another year of just dating, taking our time. But we were so in love and we wanted to get married and start a family. And I'm grateful. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not grateful. I'm just saying for the general public, a first kiss and like literally 2 weeks later, you're engaged, not even engaged, basically just get married. I don't know. That's my personal opinion though.
He wanted to be married and he wanted a relationship.
Okay. And did that,
This
did
is a
that
whole
intrigue you?
video.
Did that-
Anna. Sorry, we're gonna keep pausing just for real quick. Lori was so mad because I was no longer LDS at that point, really. Like I told her I need to be able to do my own faith journey. And I was getting really mad because it was becoming a forced thing in the family, like almost guilted, like you need to come to church. You have to be at church. I'm like, no, I'm a grown man. What I do with God is between me and him, not you. I shouldn't be at church to please someone. I shouldn't be at church to make someone feel better. It should be like a desire of your heart to want to go to church. And so I was already exploring Christianity with Kelsey. And then when I have to tell you guys a story real quick. Right when I went to church with Kelsey a few times, and then I ended up actually a couple times going to church with Kelsey in the mornings, and then going home, getting dressed in full suit and tie, and going to the LDS church. And it's because my mom was like, I want our family together. I'm like, we live in the same house. We live in the same gosh dang house. Like you see me every day. Why do I have to sit in sacrament to make you feel better? So Kelsey bought me a cross chain, like a black one, and I was wearing it around, and it like destroyed Lori. Like it pissed her off. So Charles comes out and goes, your mom's crying in the other room. Can you go talk to her? And I'm like, what? So I walk in there and she's sitting. I gotta reenact this. Hold on. I kid you not, this is how it was. Ready for this? She's sitting like this with her back towards me. And she goes, so dramatic. I'm gonna take the mic with me so you can hear. She goes, have I not taught you better? And then goes like this, crying. And I go, what? And she goes, have I not taught you better? Have I not been a good parent? Have I not done these things? And I went, hold the effing phone here. This is one of the first times I ever cussed at Lori. And she goes, this. And I said, I'm exploring God for me for once. I'm doing what I believe in. I'm doing something that I'm trying to figure this out for me, for Colby. I'm older. I've had a big, hard faith problem in my life. After I tried to go on a mission for the LDS Church and I came back, I thought everything was over. I thought I ruined my destiny forever. I thought everything was done. So with all that being said, I keep saying that. That's just my thing, man. But she's like crying and she's like, how could you think about this and that? I'm like, I went to church with Kelsey to see how I like it and feel about it. And, I had such a religious mindset that I was so stuck in like how it's supposed to be. But she literally was turned around, flips around, goes, have I not taught you better? Just like these long tears coming down. And I was like, I don't know what the F you think is going on here, but I'm perfectly capable of making my own decisions. I know that I have a belief in Jesus and in God. I don't need you to tell me what I should do. And then after that, Kelsey and I were talking, and I really came to the conclusion that I wanted to figure out faith for myself, like for real. And then after all that happened in 2020, I just remember starting to read my Bible, just my Bible for myself, because it's hard to like try to figure out what you believe when you've been in a culture of like the LDS culture. You just feel like things have to be a certain way. And so I said, I'm not going to believe anything right now. I know I believe in God, but I'm ripping out. I literally felt like God told me, restart with me. Just get intimate with me in that way. Read your Bible. So I read my Bible during COVID, right before all, when we found Tylee and JJ and all that stuff. And I figured it out for myself. So I encourage anybody, I don't care what you believe, you have to be willing to say, I might not know everything. I don't know where I'm at standing. So just restart with God. He's patient in that way. So I just wanted to say that because that goes back into culture. Like, again, it's culture. It's just a culture thing. Like, you have to realize that church and religion is different than God, right? It's not the same thing. Like, it's not bad to have organization or anything of that nature, but you have to know what you believe in, stand on your convictions. And again, I'm not perfect in that. I still struggle with my faith sometimes. It's more about a worthiness thing for me. It's more about how I feel about God loving me. I have a lot of wounds that I have to work through personally. So, just one of those things. That's all it is. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. I'm trying to say that you have to figure out your convictions. I was born into the LDS Church, and I just never thought anything different. I never thought anything. I never looked outside of that. But at the end of the day, like, I ended up becoming a non-denominational Christian, and a lot for me prospectively changes. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Guys, regardless of what we think and believe, let's just try to be respectful to people, right? Remember, that's how God sees us. He loves us no matter what, but he wants us all to find him personally. That's the whole entire point, right? It's not to say disrespect to anybody, but it is also to say you got to figure out God's will for your life, and you got to find Jesus, and you got to find God and get to that place. And again, I just try to be full disclosure with you guys. Like, I've had a harder time the last 2 years with my faith. I really have. I've struggled a lot. And that's just how it goes. So again, we're just a community. We're not trying to just go down a huge religious path, but I'm just telling you, we have, in context, especially in this case, you have to put the LDS faith and then what they branched off to in context. You have to put God into context, because at least from a different perspective, you'll understand how different what they did was different than everything else that comes with any other faith, because they started going down their own. You know what I mean?
That frightened you? Was that kind of like awkward? What was that like?
I really don't remember if I had any reaction to what he was sharing.
Okay. What about on November 7th when he actually gave you the engagement ring? Were you, was that a surprise? Was this something that you had thought about?
Yes,
he had thought
Brandon.
about?
The first time I saw Lori again, she was being escorted into a full courtroom in orange and white, smiling at Kay, Larry, and Brandon as she walked to the front, happy as a clam, like an evil version of herself. It was wild. It was wild. So that was the first time I saw her. And then I called her that next night, and I couldn't get through to her, so they had to give her my number, and she called me, and I started bawling, and she's just like, she's like, hey bub, like just upbeat and like, you know, it will all come to light and all make sense and everything is okay. And I'm like, is everybody okay? She just swore up and down. At one point I got so upset in 2020, like I kept asking, smiling. I'm sorry, I read that. Kept asking. I read your chat and my brain picked up smiling. Yeah, she was smiling at them. I kept asking her, is everything okay? What's going on? And at one point I snapped and I was like, Lori, are Tylee and JJ alive walking around on this earth? And she's like, they're perfectly fine. They're okay. Yes, they're alive, all that stuff. And obviously I didn't know yet. The time that I stared at Chad was the same day. So I saw Lori for the first time there. I hadn't talked to her in a long time. All that stuff. Yeah, we're not going to. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to debate anything.
I was not surprised. He had told me that he was looking for a ring and he had asked for my ring size. So I was not completely surprised that that was going to.
We were actually on the same row, but we were like way down. So we were like to the left all the way down. There's a bunch of people between us.
On that day.
And when did he ask you for your ring size?
I was about it was during a few days before I came up to Rexburg.
So sometime that first week of November?
Probably, yes.
Okay. And so then you got the ring. And how long did you spend in Rexburg? On the 7th, you were obviously there on the 7th. So what other days were you there? Do you remember?
It was also a short trip, so I think that it was only like 2 to 3 days.
Okay. And did you go back home to Arizona?
Yes.
And did Alex go back home to Arizona?
No, he stayed in Rexburg.
He stayed in Rexburg.
Then they go get married in Vegas, right?
And so when was the next time you saw him physically in person?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. So that would have been around the 23rd, 24th, something like that.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
the day, but it would
you
have
just
been
reminded me. I gotta email him back, man. Thank you, Karen. This is how hard it is to keep my brain in check sometimes when we're so busy.
the end of November. Yes.
Okay. And then you saw him that weekend for Thanksgiving for the whole weekend?
Yes, he stayed at my house.
Okay. And was that did he come up on a Wednesday for Thanksgiving Thursday, or when, do you recall when that was?
He came on Wednesday.
Okay. And did he stay through the weekend?
Yes.
Did he go back home after that?
No.
No, he stayed with you the whole time.
Yes.
Okay. So he comes up on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then at some point you guys get married, right?
Correct.
And that was on December the 1st?
I don't want to give you the wrong date, but I believe it was that.
It was your wedding day. You remember your wedding day, right?
That's rude.
I wish I could tell you that I know exactly the date, but there has been so much trauma around that date and all of the events that happened during that time.
Yeah, dude.
That at times it is very hard for me to remember certain things.
Hey, that was good to stand on her
Especially the
ground.
ones that I would like to forget.
Okay.
Wow.
And when you say you like to forget, that would be, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that the death of Alex?
That and among many others, yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, what other things?
All I know is this. Okay, I'll tell you guys what happened with the car. So Lori didn't reach out to me. Alex reached out to me and he goes, "Hey, Colby, we're going to drop off the car at this address." That was it. So I don't remember how I got there. I don't know if I got dropped off by Kelsey's family member. Long story short, he just left the car outside and they said that you can have this car. And I was like, well, we don't have a car, and you're not thinking anything horrible. You're not thinking that someone would set you up with, blood in the back seat. Like who would ever do that to their child, right? And again, that's not even close to the worst thing that Lori has done to her children or to any of us. But again, she just dumped a bad car off as this like, here you go thing. And so I never saw anybody. There was no exchange. There was no in contact. It was literally just left outside of someone's house, random person's house. That's all I know. We picked it up. We had it for about, I swear to you, it wasn't more than a couple weeks, if that. That was Ian's sister. Maybe you guys did say that. Now that you say that, maybe I did know that. I didn't know whose house it was. It was just a random address, and we pulled up, and we literally just, that's it. I mean, it was that simple. There's nothing in the car other than the seats were down, and there's dog hair all over the back, like husky had been in the back seat. And so there was like just dog hair everywhere. And we're talking about like furry. And just so you know, Bailey's okay. Bailey was given away to the trainer, so just none of you guys freak out. We didn't know that where she took Bailey, but you know, it looked like a husky, like a big dog that's super shedding, you know. So I don't know. That's all we knew. We went and vacuumed out the back seats trying to get the hair up. It couldn't come off, and then a few weeks later, they came and they took the car instantaneously. That's what it was.
Traumatic with Alex during that time frame.
Yeah, it makes me feel sick, man.
The
All of
fact
that.
that I went to work early on December 12th and Alex was fine. And when I came home, Alex was laying on the floor of my bathroom, dead.
Holy crap.
And then the paramedics came and they started working on him. And then they took him to the hospital, to the emergency room. And they worked on him for about an hour. And they brought me back into the room where he was connected to machines and they were doing CPR on him.
Oh,
And
you guys
then-
are gonna hate me. This is how hard it's been in the background for me. Like, so I'll be full disclosure. It is hard to listen to stuff. It really does throw me off a lot. I know that it's a personal choice. It's the first time I've ever made a choice in this case to listen to it for myself. Okay. So I don't want you guys to feel bad or think that, you know, it's too much. It's just brain scramble. We got 3 little kids. We got a lot of stuff going on. So with all that being said, yes, we have a PO box. I went over there for the paperwork. And they're like, you actually need another form of ID, which I didn't know. And then it was the long weekend, and then now it's today. So if we got time after, this, we're gonna get it done. I got to go over there and get the number and the thing and get it done. But thank you for reminding me, because we have it. We paid for everything. It's just we don't have the keys yet.
After many efforts to revive him, I had to give the okay to have the machines turned off. That is very traumatic, sir.
Right, and I understand that, and I'm not trying to be callous or anything.
You
And I
are.
said, other than the death of Alex Cox, was there anything else that was traumatic during that time? That's all I was getting at. Was there anything traumatic that happened to you between your wedding and when Alex passed away?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. So, you started dating in August, and he passed away in December. So you've got some of August, September, October, November, and part of December. So 3.5, maybe 4 months that you really knew him. Is that right?
That I knew him personally, yes, in that.
Okay. My question is, and my problem is that you made a statement to the prosecution that Alex would do anything for Lori, and you knew that with some sort of a surety. And so I guess my question is, how is it
Act opposite,
that
huh?
you knew him between August and December, and you knew this much about him, and you didn't really spend that much time with him? So is it maybe possible that you didn't know him that well, and that maybe he wouldn't do anything for Lori?
I would have to disagree on that. And the reason why I have to disagree on that is because of the way that Alex expressed himself whenever he wanted to do something or make a decision on something. He felt that he always needed to have Lori and Chad's per se permission or okay. And to give you a couple examples of that.
That's something we went over real quick just to recap. I don't know how. I think there's 2 options. He took his own life, or his body was physically reacting to everything he has done. Because there's nothing, no matter how callous you are, to do that with your own hands that way has to have such a toll on you, no matter what you think you believe. So I think it could have honestly been the fact that he was so overwhelmed that he might have just passed because of the stress on his body. It's possible.
That would be when
Let's also understand
Chad-
he was a very unhealthy person in habit. He was from what I ever saw, he never ate right. He never took care of himself. He didn't exercise much. He didn't do anything to take care of his health. So all of that combined, being a truck driver, I'm sure probably made it worse. Sedentary lifestyle. That for that long, we're not talking about like a little bit. There's nothing wrong with being a truck driver, but you have to understand that just physically sitting down for such long periods of time, it would be so easy to never get the blood flow your body needs. There's also family history of blood clotting. There's a lot of other factors you have to know to understand the context there. I genuinely think I've said there's 3 things. It's spiritual, like God said, you're done, which maybe people could argue, like, why didn't you do that earlier? But it is what it is, that we're not God. So I'm not going to try to fight with that. Secondly, he committed suicide, which would be really hard. I don't know how you could give yourself blood clots in suicide. You would definitely, I don't know how you would do that. Poison yourself, I guess, but they probably would have found that. Lastly, would just be the stress. That's how I would do it. That's what I would put on there for you guys.
told him in a blessing that he was going to be moving to Rexburg and that he would be one of the warriors in Rexburg. The following day, he took a plane and came back to Rexburg with Chad to immediately come and check out the area.
Yeah, guys, if
and
you
he
want to
eventually-
understand the context here, I've never seen that ever. There's never been even the slightest inappropriately, crossing that boundary of like flirting. That's never been something I've ever observed. And I would just straight up tell you if I did. So I don't know. I can't speak for that. I haven't been around them their whole lives. I barely was around Alex myself, bro. Like he was the black sheep in a sense. Like he was always gone or lived somewhere else. Like Alex didn't really show up till 2018. All of a sudden you're like, whoa, dude, like first time I've ever really been around you. He just showed up in tiny increments, even when he lived in Arizona. So I don't know. I'm not going to try to argue with someone that saw that. That's not my place because I have no freaking idea.
Actually moved up here. The other significant reason why I say that is because after we got married, we were talking about how we were going
Well,
to
there you go.
be living with her.
Thank you,
I
Amy.
had already told him that I was not going to be moving to Rexburg and that
No
my family,
idea.
my work, my life was in Arizona. And
never met her.
he was at the time still had all his stuff and living in
Have a good night.
Rexburg. And so we were discussing on how we were going to, what we were going to do. And he said, well, before I make any decisions, I need to ask Chad and Lori what I should do.
So he was asking for some advice, right?
I will call it direction, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and hand you what's been marked as defense exhibits A and B. The state has a copy, and this is a courtesy copy from court.
I'm sorry, counsel, you did give us a copy. Which one you're giving them both?
A and B, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. It probably would work. You can definitely get into people's brains. That's probably the number one attack you can have on someone outside of a physical attack is work their brains. Work somebody who's eating your crap and will just keep eating it without thinking about the consequences, or even if you're telling the truth.
Can you identify what I just handed you?
It looks like there are copies of texts. Between Chad and me and
See, this is where you're exactly right, Forrest, but this is the debate that people have had with this whole idea that he got in the car accident. Like you are permanently stuck at that age. I can't really speculate on that because I don't know how brain damage works exactly. I don't have a degree in that or any knowledge of that. I will say though, regardless of how immature he was mentally or physically, you know, my debate always goes back to there's just no freaking way that you live your whole life from 16 to 51 and you don't, in all that time until up to like the very end of your life, literally the last year of your life, you just become a literal serial killer. I will never, I don't know how that would react. Like, how much time would you need to get to that point? He's probably always in the dark. Let's call, I hate to use that word, but always like a darker person, and was really dark with what he did in his life. But that's still a big jump. Still a big jump from here to here. That's exactly right.
And the other one appears to be between Lori and I.
I always say this, like, not to be, it's like for her and for Lori, for him and Lori, it's not like, and I hate to use this example, but we actually talked about the other day. I said this back in 2020. It's not like Lenny from Mice and Men, right? I read Mice and Men a few times in school, and Lenny didn't know better. Lenny would hug stuff and accidentally take its life because he didn't know how strong he was. He didn't have the mental capacity. So we're talking about two people who had the mental capacity to make decision making, have emotional intelligence, no matter how immature they might be in their brains. They knew right from wrong, like exactly like we said. So there's no excuse there. There's never going to be an excuse. You cannot excuse and say, oh, well, Lori's so delusional and Lori's so, you know, out of her mind with hyper religiosity and all this stuff. It's still right and wrong. Like that still exists. That doesn't make any logical sense to sit here and say that they didn't know any better. They knew better. They ran away. They stole money secretly. They lied to everybody around them in the perfect way so nobody would know. They lied for a very long time and they never told the truth until it was put in court. And even then, Lori still refuses. That's not someone who doesn't know right from wrong. That is a choice. That's a very particular choice to go through. And that's also the entire point what we made is like, we cannot give them an excuse no matter how delusional she is. Yeah, is she a little delusional? For real? Yes, for sure. Not to the point of, I don't know that killing someone's wrong. There's no freaking way you can ever tell me that's true.
Do you recall testifying at the grand jury?
Yes.
Do you recall identifying these specific documents as being text messages between you and Chad and you and Lori?
Yeah, I believe so. Mhm.
So they don't appear to be what they are. I mean, they are those text messages, right?
Okay, yes.
You previously identified them?
Exactly.
Yes?
Yes.
There's actually there's a guy in Dexter. If you've ever seen the show, there's a whole season about a guy who's like called the Doomsday Prophet. It's actually insane. I know Alex watched Dexter. I've watched Dexter by myself. But with that being said, in the show, this guy is going around trying to fulfill biblical prophecies as he's murdering these people, trying to fulfill biblical prophecy. So he's justifying the murder. And he's also like, you know, he's a little off his rocker for sure. But I mean, I the only thing I can even slightly compare this to is that season. Because when I watched that season now older, I was like, holy crap, hold the phone. Like, this is a lot like Lori, Chad, and Alex. This is all this religious end of the day stuff where he's trying to kill people and do very specific things. And it's really dark, honestly, because it's taking that whole holy God thing and saying, what the dude in the show tries to do is he tries to bring the end of the world. So he does all these wild sacrifices of people in these very specific ways and tries to fulfill biblical prophecy himself, right? So again, he's a literal serial killer. He's doing all these crazy things. But at the end of the day, the only reason, instead of just admitting that he's dark, like kind of like Dexter admits he knows he's just a dark dude, they justify it. And even Dexter himself justifies it. Dexter kills offenders, all these horrible criminals, all these murderers. He kills these people and says, you know, I have this craving, but I'm going to at least do it. You know, he's taught this code. So with all that being said, you have to look at this from a psychological standpoint, and that's how this works. You know what I mean? Like, this is how it works for people in real life. That's why that show's good. That's why I use that as an example, because this is all about psychology.
All right.
Exactly.
So I'd like you to turn to Exhibit A, page number 17.
Exactly.
Judge, just for the record, can we have these identified in the date range? The state isn't going to object to their admission, but could
Yeah,
we
it's rough.
have a little bit more description of A and B on the record so that the witness and jurors know what she's looking at?
Yes, so
Sure.
for starters, Mr. Thomas, are you moving to admit A and B?
I am moving to admit A and B, Judge.
All
They
right,
were
I
previously
understand.
admitted and I'm sorry, they were previously admitted in the grand jury.
And state's indicated no objection, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so defendants exhibit A and defendants
You're
exhibit B are both admitted.
It comes from, though, for me, I was studying, and that was the only show I'd seen before that I knew about that stuff with. And I watch it from a psychological standpoint. I think what we have to understand, and the reason why it is important sometimes to pull in pop culture, is only that certain pop culture is the reason the shows are so good is because it's very realistic. It's not just fantasy. It's not Star Wars, flying around in space, fighting your robot dad. Like, for real, like a lot of the shows we end up loving, the bigger, more creative shows, are very psychologically based, very realistic. That's the problem. Well, not the problem, but that's what draws us to it. But that's where you can make those comparisons. We know it's not real. I watched the Scott Ruse evaluate Lori's body language in her Nate interview. It tells a whole lot about how she deals with delusions and her right and wrong cognition. You should check it out. Thank you, Stacy. I will. I've actually had a lot of really cool emails from you guys and DMs about, checking out other people's stuff. I'd love to talk to those people if we could. So I might have to start reaching out to some of those guys and just talk about it. I think it'd be really interesting. I'm a big fan of psychology and understanding sometimes how brains work. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. It's just about learning. Oh, if we want to do it, I'll tell you this. The only reason why, but again, we're just talking about people giving them a reason to kill. They give themselves permission with this idea, code, whatever you want to talk about. Especially in that season, it's very specific about a doomsday guy. He's trying to fulfill biblical prophecy, which no one told him to do. He's just doing it for himself.
And then Mr. Thomas, was just a request to identify specifically where in the admitted exhibits you're going. So if you do that, please.
Sure. Ms. Pastinas, I'd like you to turn to Exhibit A, which is an extraction report, Cellbrite report. And I'd like you to turn to page 17.
That's exactly right. It doesn't
It
make
would be
sense.
item number 224.
Exactly right,
And I'd
Don.
like for you to read for me and for the court what the text message says.
He says, "Hello, Chad. I had a conversation with my daughter, Kara, today, and it didn't go well. She doesn't want to go to Rexburg, and she feels like I'm abandoning her if I leave without her. I feel really bad right now. I had a prompting the other day to ask you if you could see who she was before in this life. She may
Oh
be
my
able to start
gosh.
seeing truth. I was told this week that I will go to Rexburg eventually, but not right now. So I just need to prepare for when that eventually is. Thank you."
Dude, that's just so sad, bro. Like, why would you let someone dupe you like this? Like, oh, I'm gonna abandon people. I'm gonna leave. I can't leave, but I would. I'm gonna come. Please, Chad, just tell me what my past life was. This is some stupid stuff, bro. I'm sorry. This is never do this. Never, ever go to a human being expecting God to speak through them. Talk to God. It's just what it is. Why would you let someone manipulate you, bro? Why would you go to someone and let them tell you what the will of God is? Come on now. Yes, has there been prophets? Yes. But you watch the prophets, a lot of times prophets in the Bible, they're flawed human beings, bro. That they're examples to us. Like no one's a better or more above. Like God just knows who he can use and the ways that he's going to use them for a bigger thing. But a lot of the prophets had serious issues as human beings. Remember, human being versus God. Do not trust someone like that and say, Chad, please give me wisdom. Please guide me. There's nothing wrong with asking for prayer. Don't ever think that, don't ever think that someone has all the answers for you, even a pastor. Like it's all exactly. You're supposed to decide for yourself. I want to hear from God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to do what I have to do to talk to him. I'm going to be able to get that in some way. And God's going to speak to me in the way that he knows I understand. That's the point. It's not about, only trust this pastor all the time to do everything for you. Like, no, redirect yourself. That's all I'll say. This is how people get sucked in, though.
For always being there for me. I'm so grateful for you.
And
I talked to her. I'd
Well-
really talk to almost anybody because I am trying to, I do want to figure some of these things out, understand the best I can. I don't know what I'd ask her, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and I'm not going to be rude. So, I don't want to, I don't know. There's been a lot of people on my mind that I would talk to, You also have to remember though, it's an emotional thing. So
What was the response on number 225? This is Chad speaking to you, right?
Thank you, Zulema. I will find out about Kara. I agree with you about Rexburg, not immediately, but eventually. I'm so grateful for you too. Let's talk soon.
So in 224, you said, I was told this week that I will go to Rexburg. Do you recall seeing that?
Eventually, but not right now.
Okay. I guess what I'm asking is, you're saying that Chad told you, and I'm asking who told you.
During this time, I was quite confused. I have to tell you the context of this because otherwise it gets taken out of context.
That's what we're trying to do.
it makes me feel so good.
During this time, Lauren and
Good.
Chad were really pushing me to move to Rexburg, and they continued to do that throughout this whole entire time. Chad had even given me blessings telling me that I needed to move to Rexburg. It didn't make sense to me to move to Rexburg since I didn't have anybody there. No, didn't have my life, my job, my family was not there. And they can continue to push me.
Well, why would he do that? It's a really interesting case study because Chad's a psychopath, and I'm almost 95 to 98% sure he actually qualifies as a psychopath. I'm not a medical professional, not a mental professional. I'm not a psychologist, but I'll tell you this. You have to look at it from the fact that he was so selfish and, willing to take his own wife away, take a bunch of kids away, probably do a lot of it for his bare hands. But he cared about his kids, I guess. I guess they must have ego fed him a lot. And it's interesting that he actually at least cared about them just a little bit, but he'd throw them under the bus any day. He'd throw anybody under the bus. Chad's about Chad. That's just what it is. That's why it's interesting that he spends so much time talking to people, trying to make them feel good. Like, obviously he wanted something from these people. Like, I think what he wanted, honest to God, I think he wanted people to move to Rexburg and just effing worship him and pay for his crap. And he could just, do you know that there was a guy somewhere who said he was Jesus, and he had a huge people move out to the woods with him. And I think he finally got arrested for all his stuff. But there's a guy who literally pretended to be Jesus on the earth. He was like tricking the crap out of this huge group. And, they came and they served him like he's Jesus. They treated him like he's Jesus. This is exactly what the Bible warns against. False prophets, people talking about this stuff. Like, it's not true. It's not happening. So with all that being said, I think that he wanted a utopia that just paid the bills, right? He wanted the life insurance money from all over the place. He wanted people to move out there and go live in effing tents with food storage and take care of him. He was a oh, I almost said it. I almost called him the B word. He was, though, like, for real. Like, his actions show you that he didn't give an F about providing. He didn't care about protection. He didn't care about his people around him. He didn't care about his wife. Exactly. And he wanted Lori. So he wanted a utopia. It's a complete narcissism. That's exactly right. That's who he was. Yes. I think that's who it is, Patty. I don't know exactly where he is. It was a story I heard a long time ago. But my point being, this dude could do nothing. This guy could do nothing for himself. He couldn't provide, couldn't protect. I wasn't there, but at the end of the day, that's all the signs point to, is that's who he was. And he wanted people to show up. He needed a person to go do his killing for him. He might have helped, but he had minions. He had people to protect him. He was such a pussy that he needed his wife to protect him. He needed a hitman. He needed someone to go do all his stuff for him. That's what it is. That's exactly right, Christy. He didn't get anything out of it. He wouldn't have got anything from them. And from what I've seen up until this point, just from what we know, there is they worship him, or at least still give him whatever props he needs. So he's still ego tripping off that. They act like he's a They act like he's some kind of, I don't know, God. Lift the tire. That's what I'm saying. That's why her story goes, Chad moved the tire. I'm like, no, he did not. They have the video footage that it was actually Alex because he couldn't pick up a tire, dog. Those hands is soft, boy. Them hands is soft. Those hands were made for eating hot dogs, baby. Those are soft hands.
And I really, really trusted these people. I trusted that they said that they were who they said they were. Chad said that he didn't have a veil, that he could see to the other side, and that he was constantly being guided by angels and by other heavenly beings. Lori had said that she had conversations with Jesus Christ. I trusted them. It was very hard for me during this time, and I was very confused. So I started praying and asking if I could have an answer of myself of what I needed to do.
I love this. I love that.
And during one time when I was praying, I heard this.
Oh, yeah, we got a
exactly how it
haircut,
is
baby.
here. You will go to
You
Rexford
got that long
eventually,
hair
but
chop.
not right now. And
I know. That was
I
the best.
knew that that was my answer. That eventually could have been any other time, but not at that time.
So it wasn't Chad pushing you, and it wasn't Lori pushing you. It
Oh,
was the
yes,
Lord.
they were, sir.
Oh,
It was the Lord telling you, right? You prayed about it, and this was your answer.
I'm going to repeat that.
Just yes or no.
Chad and
we've already.
Lori.
No,
oh
I'm
no,
sorry. Yes.
no. That's a no. I hate that about court, dog. You can't do that to people. Like, imagine if we were talking to each other and I ask you a question, I go, yes or no. You have no choice in between the two. It's yes or no answer. There's no middle ground. That is no context, no converse. No, I hate that. They did the same thing to me too.
Yes or no.
Judge, I'm going to object. If
Thank
you would allow the witness to answer, she's trying to answer his question, but he cuts her off.
Well,
Ooh.
in that aspect, it was a yes or no direct leading question or leading question. So you can
He did
re-ask
lead,
the question
exactly.
if you want, and the witness doesn't necessarily get to go in further detail if it's just a yes no question.
So yes or no. Did you pray about it?
Yes,
And yes or no. Did the Lord tell you that you would eventually go to Rexford?
yes, but not right now.
Okay.
I think that's what we have to understand, guys. That the prayer life that you have matters in context because the dream she was having about stuff and all this stuff is all what you're consuming. So imagine your spiritual life is just like your food habits. When you actually eat something, it metabolizes and becomes a part of your cells. That's why people say you are what you eat. Literally, yes. You literally, your cells get made up of what you just ate. So with that being said, this is the same thing. She was in that headspace, so her brain just thought that way. So she could have been having these false answers from God that were more of a human, psychology thought, because you're so brainwashed at this point of this belief system that you're willing to believe these things, and you get this warm, fuzzy feeling. I'm sorry to say this to you, but I don't think the spirit is always a warm, fuzzy feeling. You have to be careful. Feelings and God are not the same thing. Feelings of you can have a feeling or anything, right? God doesn't give you feelings all the time. God gives you answers. And sometimes those answers don't come in a way that you think. But if you only trust your feelings and heart are deceitful to you.
So it wasn't Chad and Lori who were pushing you to go to Rexford.
Yes, sir, they were.
Okay.
And every blessing they gave me.
We'll definitely be praying for your brother. That's horrible. That situation really breaks my heart because I love Texas, man. You know I'm from there.
Apparently, we're gonna have to do this a different way. All right, let's turn to page 1 of Exhibit 59.
Exactly.
Defendant's Exhibit A, right,
I'm sorry.
Your Honor.
Defense Exhibit A.
Just making sure.
Apologize.
Thanks.
Oh, we got Lacey as a new member. Welcome.
I'd like you to read line or item number 5.
Exactly. There's nothing to do. This is not about God. None of this situation has anything to do with it.
Out loud, please.
I woke up this morning and the first thing I heard was, I have made you mine. And it was a man's voice.
So for our court reporter,
Sorry, here we go.
Defendant's Exhibit A, right,
I'm sorry.
Your Honor.
Defense Exhibit A.
Just make sure.
Apologize.
Thanks.
I'd like you to read line or item number 5. Out loud, please.
I woke up this morning and the first thing I heard was, I have made you mine. And it was a man's voice.
so for our court reporter, if you can read a little more slowly on those texts, please, that'll help record stay clear. Thank you.
I woke up this morning and the first thing I heard was, I have made you mine. And it was man's voice, not my voice. I believe I'm on the right path and I'm getting closer. I feel so much better today than in the past week. So all you did for me worked. I'm starting to feel myself again.
And this is from you to Chad, is that
It
correct?
doesn't matter if you hear
Correct.
a man's voice. The deception is definitely possible, regardless of what you hear in your brain. You have to be careful, man. This stuff is can be tricky, is tricky, and you can't just go off your feelings. I feel better today. I feel better today. That's not an answer.
Now please turn to page 5. Item number 57. This is you talking to Chad again, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you read item number 57?
I have a couple of questions for you. Do I have a calling and election made sure? Will I have a calling and election made sure? Will I have a second comforter? Do I look after these things? And ... How will I know when and how to go to the temple when the call out happens?
And that text message was on January 24th, is that correct?
Correct.
And then you sent him another message a minute later, starting with, the Lord has placed a new yearning, is that right?
Yes.
Can you go ahead and read that one?
The Lord has placed a new yearning in my heart. It's so beautiful. I only want to read, study, learn, go to the temple and serve him. I'm really leaving the world behind. He's telling me there is no time. He's telling me there's no time for anything else. So I have questions come up as I study and go to the temple.
And that's you talking to Chad, and then Chad answers you, is that correct?
Yes.
And that is a couple of hours later. And what does he say to you?
Exactly right.
Can you read that?
I am so excited for you, Zulema. You're on the right path. As a multiple creation person, you
Oh my gosh. Where did you even get that from? Like, how can you be so
already received your calling and election, as well as the second comforter. I know you have a close relationship with the Savior, and that's what those really mean. Don't worry, you will know when to gather. I actually feel you'll be among the first people to gather to the safest white camps.
Did he say white camps? White camps? White camps? Is that what I heard?
You're part of the team! Exclamation mark.
And this next one, number 60, is you responding to that. Can you read that?
I just got chills all over my body reading your text. That's the reason why the voice came to me saying,
Chills, feelings, chills, physical. Oh, I was about to say, it's just for white people? Is that what we're doing here, Chad? White tents, that makes sense.
I have made you mine, because he already had! Exclamation mark. Or, oh, it's so amazing! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark.
So when you're talking about I have made you mine, that's what you just talked about earlier, is that right? When you woke up in the morning and he said, a male voice said, I have made you mine.
Correct.
Okay, so you're talking about the Lord talking to you directly.
I heard that in my head when I read it. I'm a Grease 2 guy, though. Kelsey hates me for it. I think it's a better movie than Grease 1. Don't at me. I like Michael, man. Kelsey killed me for that. She's like, Grease 2 is so stupid. I'm like,
Were there
listen,
times
I like it better than the first one. Don't talk to me.
when you called Chad or called on Chad to heal
Allie.
you from some...
Come on, Allie. Grease 2 counts. Oh, I don't even know if Kelsey's in the chat. Oh, you guys are about to start a problem over here. Go watch Grease 2. Go watch it. I got to tell her. Grease. Oh, come on, bro. Why does everybody hate Grease too, man? I'm getting killed by you guys. I know that John Travolta's like just great, but I don't really care about Sandy, and I don't like all the 40-year-old high schools. Come on, they don't even look like high schoolers. There's some good music in Grease too, and guess what? I grew up with this. I had to watch these type of movies growing up. Okay. That's just what I was forced to do. Listen. As a young man, frick this, man. Grease 2. Thank you, Debbie. It's still Grease. Michael was like the nerdy guy that was shy, and he becomes like this total, like he just glows up, bro. This is so cool to me. Like he rode his dirt bike. I was like, Grease 2 is dope, man. And then I had to watch Grease 1. I'm like, there's a bunch of old looking people. This dude's got to be 45 playing a high schooler. Like, it's just like, come on, let's just at least try to do that. I like Michelle. That was the thing. And I liked Michael. And I liked all the T-Birds. So the thing is, I didn't even. Okay, can we just slow it down? Okay, we're going back to the Zulema after this. This is what I'm trying to say. If you just stop thinking about Grease and you just watch it as a movie, I think it's a good movie. That's it. Oh, frick this, man. Slow, we're going to have to get our own channel and just review movies. And I'm not going to hold it back. Grease 2 is a good movie. Don't at me.
Pain or some spiritual
Oh, it's not
binding
old.
or something.
45 is not old. But I'll tell you, when you're trying to pretend you're 17, it is in the movie. When you have a full-grown man's beard and you definitely have lived a whole life, you can't pretend that you're 17, 16 years old. I'm sorry. That just doesn't work. And they do this with a lot of actors. They get guys who are way too old for their thing. Even Michelle Pfeiffer looks like she's in her 30s, bro. You can tell she's older. It's just, you can't, I don't like when the movie's so inaccurate with at least the age being somewhat whatever. I can't believe we had this fight today. I can't believe the disrespect on Grease 2, man. This is ridiculous. Okay, you know what? I sat there and watched John Travolta shake his butt the whole Grease 1. At least you could do is give me the courtesy to watch Michael roll around on his motorcycle. At least he's cool. At least Michael's dope. That's what I'm saying. That's all my point is. I think it's a good movie. I like Grease 2 better. I'm going back to Zulema. I'd rather listen to her talk and in my ear than fight about Grease.
Yes.
Okay. And was one of those times right around Christmas, right after Christmas 2018, when you had a shoulder issue?
You stand on John
Do you recall
Travolta,
that?
period?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay. Would you please turn to page 3?
Stand on him.
It'll be item number 23. Should be the top of the page.
Now
Yes.
we're out of pocket.
You go ahead and
There's
read
no
that. That's
shot.
you talking
Michael,
to Chad, right? Or you
Michael would beat the brakes off of Danny. Beat the brake. You know what Danny could do? He could outdance Michael. Are you okay today? Stand, not stand? Can you take a breath first? You said stand, not stand. You didn't even get stand in there this time. I love you, honey, but slow it down. Danny is skinny and a dancer. Michael is like an athletic dude. He rides motorcycles. He doesn't need a car. He doesn't fly off at the end of the movie. How about that? Where the hell did that come from? Oh, come on, baby. Let's get out of here. Fly out of here. What the hell did that happen? Why'd they freaking fly at the end? Where the hell? When the hell did that become part of the movie? That's all I'll say. At least my guy gets his T-Bird jacket. He's dope. He made it. He earned a spot. Yeah, I am like Michael. I had to come up. I came from the trenches. Oh my gosh.
Chad.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Merry Christmas, exclamation mark. I hope you had a beautiful time with your family. Could you tell me if I have weapons on my back?
Too bad I can't go on timeout.
I think I'm being attacked again.
Okay. What did you mean by that?
Lori and Chad always taught that when you had any kind of physical pain or any emotional thing like depression or anything like that happening with you, that it was usually it was attack from the dark side, and that it was usually evil spirits attacking.
You know what's funny, bro? I've definitely been out of shape and overweight, but when I went in 23, I was in really good shape. And it's so funny that I don't look anything like that sketch. That's all I'll say. It's no disrespect to sketch artists. I can't draw. Just saying, I look nothing like that when I was there in court.
Your body or your emotions.
And did you believe that?
I did.
And this particular occasion, you felt like you were having some sort of attack from the demons in your back.
In your back?
Yes.
And did this resolve on its own, or did Chad do something to resolve that for you spiritually?
I don't
brought
recall
some
this.
Positivity
so-
here.
Let's keep reading.
Okay.
Let's do number 24 on that
This guy's rude. Let's keep reading.
same page, page 3. Go ahead.
Hi, Zulema. I have captured and sealed away the evil spirits that were attacking you, and I have removed the weapons from you. I am healing the damage.
You're not doing
did
a
you feel-
damn thing. You do nothing. How did you do that? How did you fight the demons, remove the weapons? How the hell did you do that? You want to explain any logic there? How did you do that? How was that possible? You portal jumping idiot.
Feel like that actually worked, or do you think that was just hocus pocus?
Hocus
Um,
pocus.
There were times when Chad would say that he was doing some kind of energy work or some kind of taking all those spirits away that I would actually feel better afterwards.
And this was one of those times, right?
It's a placebo effect, bro. You want to believe that that's happening. You want to believe that that's the truth when it's not. And there's no evidence that people do this stuff. Again, we're not limiting God here. God can do anything. Not Chad Daybell with his literal satanic cult was not doing energy spiritual work. I do believe that there's certain powers given to people who are willing to go down the path with Satan. They're not good powers.
Like I said, I don't recall this
And she felt better. Back to feelings.
this conversation. So
Okay, let's
it's
read
possible.
number 27 on that same page. This
Okay.
is you talking to Chad on a text.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I can move my shoulder blade now! Exclamation mark. Thank you! Exclamation mark.
And the first text was at 9:06 p.m., correct?
That's awesome, Kelly.
Correct.
And the text that you said you could now move your shoulder blade was at 9:22 p.m., correct?
Correct.
So in that 15-minute span, you feel like you were healed?
I felt better. Apparently, yes.
Did Chad or Lori ever tell you to hurt anyone spiritually?
No.
Okay. Your work was always for the good, for light, right?
At the time, I believed it to be so, sir. Yes.
But somehow, after that time, you now believe that you were working for the dark side or for darkness or evil?
At the time, I believed that we were doing something good to help get rid of darkness and evil spirits off of the earth. Now I believe that the intentions
Fully
were
agree with
different
you,
and very
Debbie.
evil.
So your intentions were different and very evil
No, sir. I believe that Chad and Lori's intentions were very evil.
in telling you that they loved you, that you were doing such a great job, that you were turning away these evil spirits, those kinds of things?
What dude? I'm sorry, bro. This dude's pissed me off. Like, I know he's trying to defend his client, but you know what it is, bro. You know the truth. You know what they were doing. You know that they were buttering up their food, right? Like they were seasoning these people. They were trying to cook them. Like they had no good intentions. And then, oh, we love you. Oh, you're our good friend. They throw. Oh my gosh, come on now. Try and make her look
No,
stupid.
sir. I don't believe that. Those things that they were saying were evil, manipulative, most
Mhm.
definitely.
There you go.
But
Hey.
those things were not evil.
Zulema is, at least of all the people we've heard of, this has got to be the most honest anybody's been, regardless of what she's done in her life. She's going against Lori. Lori's sitting there listening to this, by the way.
The result of all of this was, yes.
And we'll get into the results a little bit later. Let's move on to page number 9, item number 108. This was you texting Chad. Can you read that for me?
Yeah, that's tough.
Hi, Chad. How are you? I wanted to tell you I've been given a new weapon of light fire. I'm practicing and using it. I used it this weekend quite a bit to heal the girls when they were attacked. I was attacked a lot this weekend. A lot, exclamation mark. I'm using the fire to heal me, but I still feel my body in pain and worn out. Can you please do some healing on me?
So tell me what light fire is.
Light fire.
I'm trying to find the words to explain that. It is like imagining in your mind and with the intention of having a very like a light aura that perhaps has some fire around it, and putting it around somebody or some kind of wound to help it heal.
So light fire is a healing weapon that you had.
Weapon?
At that time, yes.
Okay. And who gave you that healing weapon?
I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't even recall this conversation. I'm sorry.
Do you ever recall using light fire?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay. And you always used it for good.
Correct.
You always used it for healing purposes.
For healing purposes and during the castings as well.
And during the castings out of evil spirits.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, actually.
This weekend, my team and I were
Healing
talking
weapon, yeah.
a little bit about your testimony, and there was some debate as to whether or not.
Objection to the commentary, Your Honor.
I'll sustain that.
Okay. Do you have a portal in your home?
No, sir.
No shot. You know your client does, though.
Have you ever had a portal in your home?
No, sir.
Okay. Can you please turn to page 10? Item number 126. This is you speaking to Chad or texting Chad. Is that right?
Yes.
And what's the date on that?
April 8th, 2019.
Damn, that's my
Can you read that for
birthday.
me?
I would love that. I want to see if you could help me create a portal at home to get answers at.
Okay. So do you recall?
Come on, bro. The portal's too much for me to handle. Zulema's being more honest, and she's still hiding the fact that she tried to murder Charles with her powers. You're exactly right. And we're not gonna pretend like there's not more going on here, but at least in this setting, we heard Melanie Gibb talk about it. And dude, she had not even the slightest bit of honesty, not even the slightest bit of care, not even the slightest bit of anything. So, but the portal thing's wild to me, dude. Like, there's this game I watched. It's called Diablo. I would never play it because it's really, really like it's literally about hell and demons and stuff. But there's like a fight of good and evil kind of thing, like angels versus demons stuff. And so I watched this trailer one time. It was like 2 minutes because it actually said it was called the heaven versus hell fight. So I thought it was like an AI example of heaven versus hell kind of thing, right? It ended up being that game Diablo. And guess what they do? They're like super high ranking demon people in there literally open portals and jump through. And I was like, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, why do we talk about pop culture so much? This is why. This stuff is literally out there and stuff like that. There you go. So that's all I'm saying is, like, if you go watch the trailer, I think for 4, there's like, it shows you the portals that they go through. They open portals. This stuff is out here in the world. This stuff is, as there's examples of this that could be seen on YouTube, could be seen in anybody who plays games. So this stuff is there. It's in video game / pop culture, culture. And so that's just like, this stuff's got to be coming from somewhere, because this is such a level of depth to work this hard. And yeah, exactly. I just saw your thing. Yeah, I've literally played the game called Portal. And it's this game where you literally have a gun and a portal. It's like a puzzle game. And you open the portal and you jump through, and you're supposed to come out the other side, and you have to do this as, what's it called? You have to like jump through. It's a puzzle, right? My point is, there's just a lot of actual things I can immediately pull from games and pop culture to know where they're coming from. Just a thought about something. Lori could have ended up on Chad's dark list, maybe grooming Zulema. CD could have ended up on Lori's dark list too. I think Chad probably wanted to be like a polygamist. Like, I think Chad would have probably taken multiple wives, and in the end, I think Chad probably thought he could just disgusting. Never mind. I don't want to get into that conversation. All I know is he probably would have taken multiple wives if he was able to. And he would have used the manipulation of the spiritual side of his powers and all the good things he's done for them to bring them in. And who knows? He probably could have married everybody in that group. Who all we know? Who knows where they were going next with this? They're disgusting. They're all disgusting. But I think he really wanted to be with so many women. He probably wanted all of that. So I think there's an option on there for you guys. If you go into your membership, there's an option to upgrade. Once you guys do, if you do upgrade and want to upgrade, there is a post in for the Chiefs. You'll see it right as you upgrade it, and it will give you the link to the private Discord for the Chiefs, which has been awesome to have you guys on there, man. It's been awesome to have like a group of us just being able to talk. Exactly right. Tell me that wasn't a wooing. That homie was sweet, sweet little Melanie. Oh, frick this.
Asking Chad about how to make a portal, or how to help you create a portal at home.
I don't recall saying that, but it's there. So yes, I did ask him.
So you asked, but you never had a portal at your house?
No.
Okay.
Why did you want a portal? I'll get on it for you and try to figure it out.
You recall doing some castings out of demons with
If guys, if the mods are here, can you guys see if you can put that in the chat for people in case they want to join the Discord on Chiefs? Thank you.
Lori and some of the other women that were in your small group, correct?
Correct.
And one of those castings out was a demon by the name of Garrett. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you didn't cast him out by yourself. There were some other people in that particular prayer meeting. Is that right?
Correct.
You specifically asked that this demon be released from its host or its body, right?
Correct.
And did that actually happen?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No. And the reason why I say that is because Lori always had to check with Chad to ask if it had been done correctly or not. And then she would say,
that is so key though. It keeps stopping on that one specific part. Contextually for me, I never knew who was really doing it. I thought Lori and him were, right here. And that's the point, is like they were equal, but actually they still honored. Oh, so stupid. You go on there and you see that Chad is the upper level, and then you have this beating right here. So from right here, everybody else went down that way. I literally had that drawn for you guys last time. I don't know. She was so deceived so easily by this guy. He could have been like, this is God's will for me to have 3 sweet, sweet wives. And who knows what his process was. But I mean, could he have possibly done that? Oh, awesome. There you go, guys. Show perks. Yeah, but when you upgrade, you go from warrior to chief. It will give you the private Discord right as you join, and you'll have it on your thing. But yeah, I mean, think about the fact that this dude, they do these horrible, literal, like casting crap right here. They literally do this horrible death ceremony as a group. Disgusting. And then after they got done with that, they'd make a phone call. Hey, Prophet Chad, did it go through? And he's like, hold on, let me effing figure this out. This is the logic of doing this. The logic of calling a man and saying, did it work? Why would you even think he had these powers? What validated that for you? Nothing. He never showed you a single thing that worked with. I'll never understand, bro. I'll never, ever, ever understand. But that's the point. There is literally tiers to this. He created it that way. Pyramid scheme.
Yes, it was done, or no, it was not done. But it wouldn't be something that I would know whether it was done or not. So we would get confirmation from Chad.
And did you get confirmation from Chad that this entity had left Charles Vallow?
Yes.
There you go.
And so that was a successful casting?
According to them, yes.
Well, what about according to you?
I didn't know whether it was done correctly or effectively, or if we had cast out evil spirit or a demon. I only had faith that they were telling us the truth.
So you never had faith that any of your castings had ever actually come true? You never knew with a surety, I guess.
Objection. Can the witness be allowed to answer?
Yeah, I will sustain that. She was in the middle of an answer, Mr. Thomas.
Okay.
I personally didn't have a confirmation that those evil spirits or demons were cast out. I trusted and believed what Lori and Chad were saying that had happened as a result.
Okay.
She's
and
a
then
chief, baby.
this particular demon left Charles Vallow, and there was another demon that went into Charles Vallow. Is that right?
That's what Lori and Chad said, yes.
But you didn't think this was true?
I believed what they said, yes.
Okay. So you thought that another demon was in Charles as well?
Yes, I believe them.
Okay. And
I can't even tell you. Here's what always gets me. So I'm gonna give you guys a little background. So this is a part of hurt, but I'm just gonna tell you. So when we were living in Kauai, there's a place called Kauai Beach Resort. It's beautiful. It's right literally on the beach. It's a little bit of a smaller hotel, and it's a place where my family used to literally go to have Thanksgiving, Christmases. Like we used to spend real moments as a family in this hotel. We just love going there in general. They had a little gym there that, it's like a resort. Lori was obsessed. Because you can walk to the beach itself, and it's a very private beach. I remember running down that at night. And when we'd stay there, sometimes I go over those long beach runs and just listen to music. Lori would go down there with her headphones, like her Apple headphones, plug her music in, and just epping dance around. Literally, like she'd go out there further away from everybody and just go dance and just kind of looked like a psychopath. So with that being said, I know that's what she was doing while they were there. With that being said, it's all this stuff, all this death has happened. They run away. They're on the run. They go to Hawaii, and they're just talking this nonsense. They're writing on sticky notes. They're writing on receipts. They're making up their own lore as they go, and they're just living like their life off of all this money that they got from all these other people. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense, dude. And that's why it's like, it hurts to think. I know she was probably out there dancing. They were having these, who knows what kind of conversations. But it sounds like a lot of the crap that they did was just 24/7, this demon spirituality crap that they were into. Chad reminds me of Jabba the Hutt mixed with a little bit of Doctor Strange. What a combo. What a combo, dude. I don't think there was really too much. Hey, you got it, man. Awesome. Yeah. So go, if you guys become a chief, go look into the Discord, or I'm sorry, the membership, and there's a post for members. You'll immediately see the Discord link. Click on that, download. If you don't have Discord, you can download it and you'll be into the Discord group. Yeah, it sucks, man. I love Kauai personally. Like I had some of my best times in my life there. Like I grew up a lot there. I went through a lot of hard times there, but it's such a beautiful place with such beautiful people. Like I have a really deep, special place in my heart for the Hawaiian culture, and I love being around that, and I love those people. So it's tough for me because it's a beautiful place. It's special to me personally. She had to go back there and ruin it, though. You had to go do it. You know, you had to go through that, and you know, I've actually been to Kauai for the memorial. We actually did Tylee, JJ's, and Charles's like a very light memorial just for Kelsey and I, and that was a special thing for me, even though it was pretty bad. But guess what? They actually got us a room. The documentary got us a room at Kauai Beach Resort. And while I was there, it was really hard not to think about that. But I tried to put that out of my mind and say, let's please, like, I'm just gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna show Kelsey around. My daughter was with us. That's actually where Ava was conceived. Not to be too much. I just felt weird saying that, but it's true. It's actually kind of crazy because I think we were there and that's such a hard time. And then we literally get to have Ava. So it's pretty crazy. It's this very special place to me. And I hate that it's been tainted. I really do. But I try to just think of it as a special place that I knew it was for my family. I kind of cut her out of that. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, we can't
Charles
let her.
passed away on what
Oh,
day?
he did not
Do you
effing
recall?
pass away. Hate that. Yeah, exactly. You gotta, sometimes you gotta, you know, you gotta figure out the way that you can go around that. Yeah, exactly. Well, what's so beautiful, and it's not, I started laughing because I just felt a little uncomfortable saying it to you guys, but what happened was we actually had the memorial there, and it was like so, it was the first time I had any relief from the situation. I never had done any type of memorial, there's no funeral, there's nothing like that yet. And you know, with all that being said, I had such a hard time that day, but it was so relieving. And then there was also just something beautiful that happened too. Like it was really something that we couldn't have expected for it to go the way it did. What I hate that you guys didn't get to see, I just felt weird saying that because I know you know what it means, but it is. But you should have seen, like they only filmed a tiny section and showed you guys a tiny section. It was cloudy all day, right? We go to that memorial. It's cloudy all day. And we ended up doing we tried to light candles in the jar and it was just blowing out. And then they gave us lays. So we actually let the lays go into the water. We walked like knee deep. And dude, it was like, oh, I'm gonna try not to cry. This was tough. It was cloudy all day. I mean all day. We were out there for like 6 hours before we did the filming. And this was for the Netflix documentary called Sins of Our Mother, whatever it's called. It was tough because this was like a 2-year process basically to get to that point, maybe less, maybe like a year and a half or something of filming. And it was supposed to go a certain way. It was supposed to be about my family and all this stuff. And it didn't go that way. So we have this actual memorial at the end, this very real memorial for me and Kelsey. And we were standing in the middle, like on a sandbar, like Kelsey's in her dress. I'm in my shorts. We're both soaked by the thighs. And I'm looking out and it's on Honolulu Bay Beach. If you've ever been there, it's one of the most beautiful places ever. And so we go in there and there's right outside, it's been cloudy. And like, there's a mountain right here in the very left corner. And then all of a sudden the sun just comes out in like glory, like it's like sunsetting glory. And when I tell you it was cloudy all day, it was cloudy all freaking day, that entire time we're outside. And they didn't show that part, but oh my gosh, dude, like it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Like the sun just glory shined down and it just came right out of nowhere, right as we were standing there, right after we had let the lays go. And you just can't make that stuff up, man. You just can't make it up. Like it was, I just wish they showed how beautiful that actually was that whole time. And I think we had started that part where we were walking back on the beach and we were wet. is because we had went into the water and let the lays go, but on the same time, they missed that part of it, like one of the most beautiful things that happened. So it was beautiful though.
July 11th.
Okay. And that was in 2019.
Yes,
Do you recall what you were doing that day in the morning?
I was at Temple.
You were at the temple?
Yeah, it was so
Can you turn to
beautiful.
page 5 of exhibit B?
I literally wish I could show you guys the footage. It's unbelievable.
Can you turn to number 69 and 70, and can you read those?
I'm on my way to the temple. I'll be in the
Song.
celestial room.
That song makes me want to cry talking about it.
So 69 is I'm on my way to the temple, and 70 is I'll be in the celestial room, correct?
Correct.
Do you recall what you were doing?
Objection, Your Honor. Can we just have since we switched exhibits, can we have the
Oh,
to and from,
Misty,
so that puts these
jeez.
in context, please?
With switching exhibits, I do think, indicate who these communications.
Oh, they're not a fan of
Okay.
me now. They're not a fan of me. Only I don't know if they are or not, but I know that I just had to tell you guys what it was. That was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. On top of everything else that was hard is that it was so opposite of anything it was supposed to be. It was just really unfortunate. I don't know if that was Netflix. I don't know who that was. It just would have been nice to at least know what it was. And they just showed me basically like an almost completed product and they weren't going to change anything. So it's unfortunate. Teach you though about really thinking through, trusting people, and really just take your time. Don't jump in to something and don't just take people's word if they're going to take care of your story. You know what I mean? Your story is very important to tell. And that's why I think Brandon and I, made a media company. I believe in that with all my heart, is people deserve to tell their story the way that they feel that their story will be told the right way and not try to edit you down. It's not fair to do that to people. Yeah. It happened to, I think Jake Paul made a documentary. I've never seen it, but I saw a clip on, I think, Instagram a long time ago, right after they were done with it, that they're like, they didn't even do this right. Like they said all these things, they did it differently. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Again, just redoing this, just redoing this whole thing, making our own media company is why we're doing it, for that exact reason. Like, it's part of my heart. I want people to be taken care of, and their stories are very precious and sacred to them. It needs to be done the right way. We're working on it, man. We're working on it. That's what the whole media company has, the driving force behind is not doing this. You know what I mean? It's just not this way. Oops. Come on now.
Exhibit B is an extraction report. If you'll turn to the front page, is that correct? To the front page 1.
Yes.
And the participants are 564 806
That's so
929
awesome, Abby. Thank you.
562. Is that your number?
Thank you for being here.
Is that your phone number? Or was that your phone number?
Those are Lori's numbers.
Oh, those are both Lori's numbers?
Correct.
Okay. So this is you talking to Lori. Is that right?
Correct.
So 69, you're talking to Lori, right? And you say, I'm on my way to the temple on page 5.
Correct.
And on number 70, page 5, you say, I'll be in the celestial room.
Correct.
Okay. And then number 71, would you read that for me?
As I was working on Hiplos today in the temple,
Oh
I was
gosh,
told
not
he was
Hiplos, dude. It's so sick. They go in there and try to go to the celestial room to be closer to God, to pray for people's deaths. Tell me about that. That's wild. That's awesome. I've never seen Squid Games. I've heard it's really good though. Oh, you haven't even seen the hair, big dog? Hold up. You weren't wrong. Remember the big announcement? This is it. This is the big announcement. It's the haircut. I got rid of the long hair, brother. I told you I couldn't stand it anymore. This big dog just popping in here, baby. Big dog's in the house, baby.
will be taken as he is. I don't know what that means. Then I was shown to only put light, the brightest light,
Oh, we're
from
getting
the top
Chiefs in here
and
today,
the
man.
bottom
You guys are
at the
awesome.
same time, meaning in the middle. So I've been doing that all day.
Oh
7-Eleven.
yeah, we got our girl Crispy Treat in here as our new mod. She got that wrench. We got Raw Wrench Ray out here.
I hope today is a good day for all of this to end.
Okay. So you were in the temple. You went into the temple.
No.
Sometime shortly.
Y'all toasted me on Dateline for that. I had no choice. Then guess what's so funny, dude? I forgot that they were coming that day. I feel so bad. I completely forgot the day that was Sunday that day. And so my hair was like that. We were experimenting with it with Kelsey. She used to do my hair for me because I don't know how to do it. And I just had it in that little bun, so I didn't have any choice. I had to do it. I had to get it done.
Before 9 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes
not-
it's just, to be honest with you, it's just habit. Sometimes I just call her my mom because I forget, you know. I do separate her though as a different person in a sense, like just to touch on some trauma things. Like when you get to this level with a parent, I really do believe that because I struggled for this for a minute. I even talked about it on the channel. It's like you're supposed to honor your mother and father, but at the same time, like she broke that line so far into even just with God and then with me and with everybody else. So I refer to her as Lori. And I've pretty much accepted that Lori, my mom, is yes still the same person, but also like from a grieving standpoint, you almost have to accept that they died because she's never going to be the same person. She might have always been this person, and then it came out, and she woke up horribly. So there's a lot of people who probably have this part of their heart that where they have someone who's alive who they grieve that you don't really have any closure with because they're still alive, but they're almost like. It's almost like a death because you lose them, one or the other. So she ripped my heart out. She stomped on it. She doesn't care. She literally took everybody else's lives. What do you do with that? You know, so you have to get to a certain point where you're able to, you know, separate for your own well-being of what it is. So it's tough though. And I feel you, and I'm sorry you've gone through that. Yeah, I think it's best to accept them as gone, to be honest with you.
Are you allowed to bring your phone into any of the rooms in the temple?
No.
So you didn't have your phone between, say, 8:54 when you first texted that and 11:30, well, that's a long time. So between
I just hope this doesn't come off in any type of way of boasting. I'll just tell you this is not a product of Lori. I'm not her product, and actually I hope this doesn't sound again like boasting, but I'm the exact opposite. There's some things that she did right, and I'll never take that away from her. She did a lot of things right, but I had to rebuild, man. I feel like I had to go through a lot of stuff to become who I am today. This was always part of me. I was always a sensitive person. I always had a big heart for people. I had a lot of the characteristics that I had are here, but I had to do this in spite of Lori, not because she knew how to take care of me. I grew up my whole life trying to please Lori. I grew up my whole life being quiet. I grew up my whole life fearful, scared, knowing I didn't have anybody to lean on. So it's unfortunate, but it's just the truth. I'm not here. The person you see today is not the same person that even existed 2 years ago. We talked about that, but yeah, this is in spite of her, not because she did anything really necessarily right or wrong. She wasn't a parent. She was like a friend, and you don't need your parent to be your friend over being a parent. Your parent should be your parent first, and then be your friend on the side. Can be one of your closest best friends, but not in an immature way. You shouldn't have a parent that just doesn't take care of you. You know what I mean?
8:54, how long were you at the temple that day? Do you recall?
I don't remember how long I was there.
Okay.
And I hope you don't think I was trying to attack your comment. I was just trying to say just what it is, because I know a lot of people think that, and I get it. But I think you were being very sweet, so I hope you know that was not direct towards you. I just wanted to address that part of it.
And so you specifically recall that you were at the temple and that this specific thing happened to you?
Yes, I remember this.
Okay. And this was when you were casting out hippos?
Yes, sir. I was supposed to meet Lori at the temple that day. And we were supposed to be working on Hiplos together. And she didn't come.
Okay. But you had an experience where you did some casting out of hippos in the
I
celestial.
do. And a lot of people ask me, like, how'd you make it through this? That's a whole nother video for another time. But I will tell you, this is not because Colby's this strong. I was falling to pieces. I did not have the strength to do it. So I personally just will tell you, I had found faith, my real true conviction faith right before this all happened. I don't think that was an accident. I think God was trying to make sure I had some kind of preparation. You have to understand that you don't get your pain taken away sometimes. The only course forward is through the storm. And instead of trying to get your storm taken away, sometimes you just need to ask for strength and see, keep depending on God the best you can. Because I'm not here without, I'm not here all by myself. And, not to get all emotional and teary-eyed, but, I had nobody but Kelsey and my kids. And at that point, I only had Riley. So it's a lot. Like, if I didn't have Kelsey, I don't know where I'd be at. And that's just the truth. Like, I wouldn't have anything without her. And it's just hard. It's just a hard thing to go through. So without her, without God, and then a lot of it, was some personal stuff I had to go through. There's some things that I had there was no other way around it. You have to somehow decide that you're going to become what you're supposed to be, so there is a personal decision, and then you have all the love and support from your family,
Room of the temple, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a time, and I specifically don't have this, it wasn't attached to the grand jury exhibit, but was there a time that you had an experience in the temple where you went
I
to the
know,
Phoenix
right?
temple
No lie.
in the celestial room and some heavenly beings showed up? Do you recall that?
Oh, that's him. That's the Ray with all that muscle going on here.
Yes, I do.
This is something you won't soon forget, right? I mean, it's pretty spiritual,
Yes.
pretty powerful.
That boy's so swole, you'd think he had allergic reaction out here.
Yes.
You said the
Ooh,
Heavenly Father was there
so funny, bro.
Yes, I believe so.
and Heavenly Mother was there.
I believe so.
And
There's
Jesus
there's no ever reference that I've ever heard to Heavenly Mother. Just saying.
was there.
Yes.
And your eternal husband was there.
Yes.
And who was that?
I couldn't see who was.
Do you recall what happened on that day?
No, sir.
You remember that you saw Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, Jesus in the temple, but you don't know what happened?
That's a dick move, bro. He started laughing. Oh my gosh, someone's breathing dead in the mic. Like exhaling hard in the mic. He did crack up. He's laughing at her. She hasn't said a word. What the hell happened?
I'll
I
throw the question, Judge. No further questions.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, thank you, Mr. Thomas.
I'm sorry, bro. That was just straight rude.
get the exhibits, and then if there's redirect, Ms. Smith.
And then he just leaves. This is on 1.25 speed, by the way. We're trying to fast forward, and there's still some long pauses here. What he's trying to do is make her look stupid.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, do you need a minute? Or can we proceed?
We can proceed.
Let's go ahead and put this into context too, just real quick. There's literally, this has been the last one was 3:38, and this is an hour and 2. It's a long time to be up there. This is all one thing, right?
On cross, Mr. Thomas asked you and questions about your view on people. And you said on cross that you try to look for the good in people. Did I hear that right?
Correct.
Okay. And in part of looking for the good in people,
Exactly.
that's based in your personal faith and your beliefs as a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, right?
Yes.
And so in answering his questions, a lot of your questions were about trying to see Lori you started out trying to see Lori as a good person and a person of faith like yourself.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about that. We'll turn to Defendant's Exhibits A and Defendant's Exhibits B. So the exhibit, the defense counsel admitted, Exhibit B is a cell phone extraction of your cell phone because you allowed law enforcement to take your phone and to, dump or download your phone, right?
Correct.
And that they took out the phone numbers and some of the texts that between you and Lori, right?
Correct.
And on this exhibit, there are 2 phone numbers that Lori would text you from that aren't just in this exhibit, right?
Correct.
And can you just read those numbers into
Yes,
the record so that we have
exactly
them for future use?
Um,
It's the numbers where it says participants.
yes. 56480-692-9562.
And the second one?
1-480-692-9562.
I've never met
And
any of these.
these are text messages that only
I met Melanie Gibb. That's it. Literally, that's it. I didn't even know these people until I didn't know about the other people till Charles's trial. Like the other people who were involved. I only knew Zulema's name because it popped up so much.
go from and in Exhibit B, where you just read those phone numbers, from February 5th of 2019 to August 30th of 2019. If you want to look at the first page and page 20.
That is correct.
Okay. So there'd been text and communications before that, right?
Yes.
And there were text and communications after August, right?
Correct.
But these text and communications for Lori were fairly, with Lori, were very typical of your conversations with her, weren't they?
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Okay. In fact, in Exhibit B, at least 14 times, Lori calls you a goddess or a powerful being or special.
Yes.
And she also would talk about your powers in your ability to influence the elements, wouldn't she?
Yes.
And so these texts, that's what she would say in text. Would she say similar things to you personally in conversations?
Yes.
Did she tell you you were special?
She said that I was very special, that my mission was the most important one, and that they always were looking out for me because my mission was the most important one.
And did she just say that once, or did she say that more than once?
Several times.
Okay. Over the course of, the year and a half you were friends with her.
Correct.
And Chad, he would call you a goddess.
Yes.
Why
In
would
fact,
you not go on
in one of the
cruise?
texts he called
You don't want to have a buffet and lay out all day and have freaking banana daiquiris, strawberry banana daiquiris. You're not invited if you're going to act like that because that's just ridiculous. The Colby cruise is going to be fun. And yes, you are coming because we're going to go together. Why would I go by myself? Come on now.
you a goddess of the earth.
Correct.
And he, in his communications with you, he would regularly tell you how special you were, right?
Yes, all the time.
And he, in his texts and his calls with you, he let you know that you had a special mission to fulfill, right?
Yes. Yes.
You got to do
And
it.
that special mission was a mission that he identified for you, right?
Yes.
And that special mission he gave you, he and Lori would reiterate in text and email and phone calls about how
I don't know if y'all can handle Ray without a shirt, man. You're going to have to be chill. I'm going to have to get that guy in a life jacket. You can't see all that. Some people won't make it through.
special you were and how special your powers were, right?
Yes.
And
You know, you don't
How
like
did-
Grease 2. You're not coming on the cruise. You're not making things easy, are you, honey?
that make you respond when they constantly let you know how special you were? They constantly drew on faith and your belief. How
Oh,
did
thank you,
you
bro.
feel?
It made me feel very good and very special.
Ray, they want you to take off your shirt. That's your personal choice. I don't think they can handle that, though. I don't think they can handle it, Rob Wrench Ray.
I started to really believe it.
And so they would have these conversations with you, and they would make you feel this way. And did you feel empowered?
Objection, leading
Yes.
judge.
It's already been responded.
Oh my gosh, I love you
Understand? I'll
guys.
slow it down.
I
So
freaking love you guys, man. They're so funny. Oh, you think I won't go crazy on karaoke? We'll be out there. Let me just talk about the plan here real quick. If you guys missed it, this is what we said. I said we got to do some type of subscriber meetup. Like our whole community just is invited. We all just go on a cruise and just do it all. Shuffleboard, whatever they got, man. Whatever they got on the thing. We get off, go on the islands. Come on, bro. We can make it easy too. We do one out of California. We're doing it. We're gonna go have fun. Dog, they want that shirt off and everything. You better hide. I don't know if I can bring Ray. Ray might not make it out alive.
my question is, if Chad and Lori made you feel special and empowered, did you ever see that they did the same thing with other people?
Yes, they did the same with other people as well.
Okay. What about Alex? Did you see the same sort of pattern happen with Alex?
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of
Oh,
how they made
100%.
Alex feel empowered and special?
They told him that Alex had been the angel that had come to Saul before he became Paul, and he was the one that had talked to him and made him blind, and at that time, so that he would mend his ways and become
100%.
a follower of Jesus Christ. They also told him that he had been an angel before, and that he was an angel that had appeared to Joseph Smith. And
What?
they told him that he had been in other creations. He had been exalted with his wife. His wife's name was Holly, and that he had been a very powerful warrior, and that he had unmasked Satan in another creation, and that is the reason why Satan had so much animosity towards him.
So let me
Copy that.
ask you, you had multiple conversations with Alex. Did Alex believe what Lori and Chad told him about his power from his previous lives?
Yes, he believed it.
In fact, if I remember some other evidence correctly,
What's up,
did
Becca?
Alex, after hearing about the need to move to Rexburg, quit his job?
Yes, he quit his job and he moved to Rexburg.
Okay. He sold items, and that was at the direction of Lori.
Oh my
in the direction of
gosh,
Chad.
bro. Can we
Yeah.
just recap the fact that they're using LDS lore to tell Alex that he was this person in these books and that he's so special that Satan hates him? It's just like what Lori believes, though. That's exactly what she believes. She believes she's so special that Satan's after her, and that's why her life is the way that it is. Instead of taking any personal responsibility, it's all Satan hates me. I'm such a good person. I'm so special. I'm so above everybody else that's why my life is the way it is.
Yes, they gave him a blessing and told him to move to Rexburg.
So,
And
so make sure I understand. He quit his job and moved to Rexburg.
yes, he even left a lot of his belongings in his house, and he broke his lease and moved to Rexburg.
And one of his, do I have this right? One of his primary missions was to protect Lori. Is that correct?
Chad and Lori were telling him that the only reason why he had come to Earth in this time was the sole purpose was to protect Lori.
Get the hell out of here. And you believe that? Your only job, like now that it makes even more sense contextually. So he really believed his sole purpose on this planet was to do anything to protect Lori, the goddess of almost said it. Jane, the goddess of nothing. Your only purpose was to come here and do anything that Lori says. How convenient would that be? How convenient is that? That's her narcissism at full display. Yeah, exact. No free will. You're on this earth. Hey, you have one purpose, and it's to protect this person. That's crazy. And you're just like, yep. Okay, I got you. I'll do it. I'll protect you. That makes 0 sense.
So each time the group did a casting, and I want to make sure the castings weren't a prayer group, were they?
Yes, some of them were.
Okay. And the castings themselves, were they part of a prayer service, or did they have another added element?
Right.
There was added elements to it.
Okay. I don't, but we've heard a lot about it, so I'm not going to go down there. But I guess my question is, each time that there was a casting done on the demon or the dark spirit that was in Charles Vallow, did each dark spirit, according to Lori and what she told you, each time that a dark spirit entered Charles, did that dark spirit get stronger?
Judge, again, she's leading it. And
I'm
doing
trying
this
to
quite a bit.
transition. I'll move quickly.
It's sustained. It's
Okay.
leading.
All right. Can you tell me, did the strength of the spirit that entered
Exactly.
Charles Vallow each time after a casting, did it increase or decrease?
Again, Judge, this is leading.
Overruled that time.
Thank you.
I think
Um,
honestly, bro,
um,
I honestly think that the other side of it is he had no direction or purpose. He was such a lost soul that it almost probably made him feel better that, oh yeah, I actually do have something to do on this earth. He never worked on his self-esteem. He never did the things he needed to do to become a better person or figure out his purpose in this life. He just genuinely wanted to be told what to do. That's the definition of a sheep, man. The definition of a sheep. You need to be led and make someone tell you what you should do because you've just given up on your life.
Loria said that the first one had just followed him for a couple years and knew everything about him. The second one was a very powerful one that had been around for hundreds of years and had done that very many times. And then by the time we got to Hyblos, Hyblos was a very powerful, extremely powerful demon. And this one was almost impossible to cast out because he was so experienced and so powerful.
And so in order for a body, not a person, not to be possessed again by another dark spirit, the body had to be destroyed. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And Alex believed that.
Alex believed everything they told him.
Appreciate you, big dog. We love you, bro.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
That was it. Wow. Whoa, slow it down. Oh, hell no.
Leave.
Hell no. We're not going to touch this one. Nope. Not doing it. Not doing it. All right. With all that being said, as you know, it's my favorite thing to say. We are going to probably, I keep saying this to you guys, we're gonna have to figure out a better schedule. We'll actually probably do it. It's Monday, so we'll keep going this week. I'll just be honest with you guys. Not that she has nothing to say here. I will tell you though, I can't really explain it because I can't dance around it, but I don't really want to directly go at it because I don't really necessarily want to go down that path. There's other people we need to listen to that are more of a priority, I guess, if you want to put it that way. We're on a really real countdown. Like, yeah, I gave myself this timeline because I'd like to move on after this. And really at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not going to get into it this time. Maybe something comes out another time, but I'm not doing that today. With all that being said, too, we also have to finish as much of this as possible without rushing it / start chads. And that's a lot to do in the next 2 weeks, but we're going to do it, bro. We're going to do it because like I told you guys, my goal is this year is a year of transition. Like it's been a long time in my life. I wanted to go backwards so that way I could get the closure I needed to move forward. That's the whole reason I'm doing this is I needed to do this for myself, decide to do it for myself, understand what I didn't know. So I don't have a bunch of questions going into the future, at least in this capacity. So a lot of these questions are being answered, and stuff I've never learned before. But I think that the whole point is we're going to move on after all this. I'd like to be done by sentencing. I'd like to be done with all of this stuff, and then move forward in life. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to try to bust through some of these other ones. We'll have some long days like we talked about, and we'll get it done, and then we'll start. It'd be interesting though to watch Chad's because you can physically see it. You can actually see the people talking. You can go through it. So it is so we're kind of not necessarily in perfect order. The plan was to walk through the entire thing, but it's just too long. It's like it would take us weeks of pure just sitting here watching, like almost like what we did with Brandon. It's like it would take all day just to get through it. And some of these are more to fill the gaps. A lot of it though came out in Charles's, a lot of it came out in Brandon's. So a lot of that stuff will just, I guess in this situation would just be a lot of repeat testimony. You have to remember the testimonies are purely for the jury. They're just trying to fill them in on gaps. But now that we have those gaps, we'll leave this where it is. So yeah. And it's sad, dude. There's some sad parts to what she said. She was definitely trying to find something. She needed purpose. She wanted to be loved. These are real human nature things. I think we all feel the need to feel loved, be cared for. So a lot of this does play on just general psychology. Believing it is a whole nother level, but if that's what you think you need to do to be accepted and loved, a lot of people can easily slip into that because now you have someone building you up, telling you how special you are, telling you how amazing you are, caring about you, putting extra time in. It'd be like if you have low self-esteem, which I've had low self-esteem before, you really get onto a point where it's like, if people are like, no, like you're so important. And again, I would never buy the religious side of this, but let's just go with a fantasy land here. If someone was like, you're so special, you're just one of the most important people on the planet Earth, that might get someone who feels lonely and unaccepted by society to feel good and just give them really good feelings and be like, oh, that's why my life has been hard, or that's why this is what it is. I'm so special that I'm actually having opposition from being so special. So I at least in some capacity can understand this whole thing. But we're finally done with Zulema's. I know a lot of you are probably relieved off of that. We'll keep going. We're going to keep going. We have the whole rest of this week. We got some really good stuff coming up for you with the media company on Timber and Wings. I think it's going to be really good, and you guys are going to love it. Two interviews coming out for you guys over there. So we are going to go have a good day. I know we're having a lot of life stuff's happening for everybody. Thank you, Tess, for saying that. We're going to be done today. Yes, Sherry. I know we went really quick today. We only went for about 2 hours. What we're going to do is get ready for the next few days, and we'll let it fly. We'll get it done. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you, mods, for everything you do. Welcome to all of our new members. Appreciate you guys. We're excited to have you. Again, just to reiterate, we're going to, I have it in the Discord for you. I'm sorry. The membership has the Discord link. So you guys are Chiefs. Go find that link. Hop in the Discord. I'll see you guys over there. Love you guys. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.